Hello everyone, this is Derese, Activities Director and Makerspace Manager at Pratt Public Library. This year's theme for our Summer Maker program is Adventure Begins at Your Library. Today we're working on the Week 1 project, Woven Pouch. So here are some samples of ones we've already done. We're going to have two size options. One is cell phone size, which I realize that's not a cell phone, but it gives you an idea. The other is library card size. Who doesn't need a pouch for their library card? And you can choose to tuck in all the ends to the inside and just have a beautiful woven pouch with nice clean lines. Or you can choose to have all of the ends on the outside and puff them out like little pom-poms all over. I think both looks are great. All right, let's get right to it. We'll move these out of the way and get started. So when you get here, we will have a template all ready for you, ready to start your weaving process. So the first thing you'll do is you'll use some string. And I'm going to set this down, and I like to make sure I leave a tail longer than that. Then I'm going to make a little knot circle here like that. And then I'm going to put it right over the end one here and pull it tight. Okay, then I'll leave that hanging edge, and I'm going to work with this working edge here, the long one. Okay, so now we're going to wrap down and around. We'll go around the pin this way and then back to the other side and around the pin that way. And we're just going to keep going back and forth, going around the pin to the front and around the pin to the back. We'll do that all the way across, around every single pin. There we go. Get a nice little rhythm going here. Okay, almost there. Two more. Wrap around to the front. And then when I get to this last one, go around. This one wraps around to the back. And then we will snip off so we have extra again, just like we did at the beginning. There we go. And now we're going to take a straight pin and put it right. I'm doing it diagonal so that it fits right up inside there. And doing diagonal to go across all those cords and it'll hold it better. Then I'm going to do another knot like I did to begin with. Probably do it this way. It's easier to do it this way than on top of the pin. Okay. Get my little knot there, pull that tail. Okay, and then we'll put it around this pin head and pull tight. Okay, and then we have that snug and secure. We have to do it that way so we make sure that we have an odd number of lines that we're weaving across. That way, we end up with it going correctly over, under, all the way around. Okay, next part that we'll do is we're going to thread our needle. We have these nice big plastic needles that are flexible, so that makes it really easy to work with. We're going to thread it with two different strands. So you can use two colors. You can use all one color. That's completely and totally up to your preference. This one I used purple and turquoise, and then I did a shade darker right there, and then there. The same that I started with. And this one I just kept changing with scraps and scraps and scraps. So it's all up to your preference. All right. So here we have this ready to go. You're going to start at the bottom. And it doesn't matter whether you start over or under. Just keep that same thing going. Over, under. And the thing about this needle being this plastic one, you can kind of force it down. And that gives you a little leverage there. Just make sure you do over, under the whole way across. And then pull it through. Now, your first time through, you want to make sure you're leaving a nice tail and scooch it all the way down to the bottom. Nice tail, that way you have room for tying it off. All right, and then we're just going to flip. We're going to keep going round and round and round and round. Okay, so now pay attention that my last one on that side was under, so my first one on this side will be over. All right, and just do over, under every other one. Just keep on doing that. Now here I'm going to show you, you can, with both of the ones that I did here, I was very precise with making sure that my colors stayed in their rows. So that's how, and I also like to hold on to this to help it not be tangled when I pull it through. So here's what I mean by that. So on this side, purple was on the bottom, pink is on top, but here I haven't switched. So if you want to keep them in the same order all the way around, you just have to stop and make sure you do that. You don't have to do it that way. But then once you get them lined up, we're going to use a fork. We want to push everything down, not off the bottom of the cardboard, but right to the edge. That way when we're done, it'll be sealed at the bottom. See? Sealed up at the bottom. No spaces. Right now you can see cardboard through it. All right, so again, we turn. My last one under there was under, so my first one over here should be over. which should be opposite of what it was the row before. That's how you know you're doing it correctly. We'll just work our way all the way across. I like to have this flexible needle. That's pretty cool. And then once you got it there, like I said, keep these tails out of the way and just hold that so nothing gets tangled. And then make your choice. If you want to keep that same thing going, then I just arrange that and comb it down with that. All right, I'm going to take you to one that's a little further in progress. Now this one, I did not worry about keeping them stacked in the same order. So what you can do, you can see that that makes still a cool pattern. You can have it just in the row like this, exactly the same. Or look, it makes it kind of, I don't know, just a neat pattern. All right, so with this one, I want to show you, we've gotten to where it's very short tails. So we need to add our next ones. We don't give you long strings at a time because it takes more chances of it to tangle up if you do long strings. So we do shorter strings and add more. And here you could change colors or you can stick with the same colors. I'm going to stick with the same. So you can do just a plain knot like that. There we go. And just pull both ends. But that might slide out. So, but after you get it woven in, it might not so much. But I'm going to show you that one and then I'm going to show you another way. Now, if you did our Morse code bracelets, this is the knot that we use for those. So you're going to wrap this tail around this string and pull it through. And then you're going to wrap this tail around this string, making a loop. So there's the loop. Once it's in between the knot in the middle, and pull this tail through. And then I'll pull them snug and they're not coming out. So I like that one a lot. And then you just get to the end, rethread your needle, and keep on going. Another thing that I like about this is I like it that you can see my tails are going to be a little bit different places. So I kind of like that because then you end up with like the little pom-pom things here and there. All right, so now my last one on this row was over. So when I flip it around, it'll be under. We'll do this row. All right, just keep doing. I'll get the tails out of the way. Over, under, over, under. And if you just check at the end of each row to make sure that you got over, under. And you see how this one kind of gaps a little? Just move those over a little. Then you can tell. I'll hold that tail and pull through. Now when you get to the knot, it'll be like a bump bump. There we go. Okay, and I'm not going to worry with this one about making sure my rows are stacked exactly with the color. I'm just letting it fall as it may. Scrunch that down, then flip. The last one on this side. Ooh, see, I skipped one there. I need to have an under right there. That's why you got to check at the end of each row to make sure you did all of the ones you're supposed to do. And then give it a good little scrunch down with your fork. Then flip, so that was under. Next one's going to be over. Now on this side, you can see that these are really close together. So you just every so often got to scrunch them out. So that was under, so this will be over, then under, and then just repeat that all the way across. Yeah. Okay. Hold on to those tails and pull through. And then just give it an extra tug with that tail and then smush it down into place. All right, we're going to go now to one that's nearly done. So we'll take our needle and move over to this one. And I just completed this one. I did make sure that it was stacked yellow, blue. But you can see either way, it looks really cool either way. Up to you. Okay, so now let's thread this needle back up again. All right. Okay, so my last one over here was an under. So I flip it around and make sure I go over next. And this is when you know you're at the end. It gets a little harder to weave it in there because there's just not as much space. And if it's hard like that, then go ahead and just pull through part of it. Make sure you have the right order. Oh, see that needle just barely went through there. Plus then if you are straightening your rows to be stacked a certain way, it's easier to do a little piece of a row than just the whole row together. All right, and now I ended with under, so I've got to go over and under, over, under, and that last one will be over. Okay, oh goodness. Okay, then I'll straighten up my rows since I've done that with this whole one. Just kind of untwist it a little bit there. And now we're ready to get this off of here. We'll just leave a long tail at the top like we did at the bottom. We'll tie that in here in just a moment. So what we do next is we're going to take out all these pins. Okay, and then, see that kind of just, we have worked in between. We just kind of shimmy it a little bit, and then we can kind of just scooch it right off of that template, that cardboard there. Whew, look at that. And then you want to just move it about a little bit, get that extra pin out there too. And then that way, all that scrunching you did helps it fill up where there was any space left. And now it should even out. So look at that. Okay, so then what we'll do is we'll take a sharp needle and we'll put the yarn into that. And we'll weave those ends in so they won't be popping out. But from here, you could do a lot of fun different things with it. So what we'll do is I am just going to go underneath here. Under that row and through there. Okay, till I get a loop. Get my loop down. And I'm just using both strands like I have this whole time. And now that I have this loop here, before I pull it all the way in, I'm going to go right back up through the middle. Oops. Not all the way around it. We still want to keep it on this side and get those tails out of the way. All right, and then we'll just gently pull it into a little knot. I don't want to be big and bulky, so I'm just going to right there. Okay. And then at this point, we will just, it should be, this one I didn't change any colors. I just kept it, my strings were long enough. I didn't have to do any changes, but this would be the side with the changes on it. So I'm just going to kind of go through the side here a little ways, and I'm going to go back and forth 3 times. And that's how it's going to keep my tails in there for me. Just 1. I don't want it too snug because I don't want to pull. Then I'll come right back up it and go through those again. And just make it go right through where I started up here at the top. That was the second, this will be the second pass through. Then I'll do 1 more. Ooh, bumped it. Okay, there's my second pass through. Get those other tails out of the way. And just pull it snug, but not puckered. All right, and then I'll do 1 more pass through. Just to make it secure. Right back where, and each time I go through that same area, it gets a little bit tougher because there's a lot more yarn taking up that little space. All right, pull it on through. There we go. Now be very careful because I don't, like I said, I don't want to pucker it. I just want to keep it snug. All right, now my tail's worked in. I can snip it. Now, if I want to make it where it's the pom-pom stuff like I did on this one, then I'll leave a little bit and tie a knot there and fray it. But since this one I didn't have changes, I'm going to snip it right up against there. Snip. And there we go. Okay, and then I would do the same thing with these tails. Work them in the same thing with these ones. Back through. But we're going to pretend like we've already done that. And so now I will flip it to the other side. So all of my tails will be stuck on the inside. And we'll see what we have here. Nice little pouch. Of course, this one is a little smaller than the sizes we're offering, just so that we could get it done quickly for you for the tutorial. We've worked in all those tails and you can't see any of them. There we go. Now I have this cute little mini pouch. I love it. All right, so there you go. That's the tutorial for woven pouch. See you soon.